Dr. Sujaya Banerjee. I'm the founder of the Learning and OD Roundtable. I'm also the CEO of Capstone People Consulting, and I'm really excited to bring this podcast to you. We did something on music a couple of days ago, and I know that many of you joined in and were excited that we're doing something on music again. But this one is with a difference. You will all agree that music is the elixir of life. It's a mood changer. It's a mood uplifter. It sort of gets you to experience serotonin, dopamine, all the happiness hormones. And for all those who joined today, I'm sure you've done that because you have experienced this form of music, which is an immediate healer, is a mood lifter, can suddenly snap you out of not feeling so great at any point of time during the day. And I don't know how many of you are constantly using music to be able to enable you to cope with various upheavals and situations as we are increasingly experiencing in the new decade. I'm going to start by introducing those who are coming in late to the LNOD communities. This is Asia's first and largest communities of practice. We launched recently in a tech platform avatar, and inviting you to this podcast is a way of being able to also invite you to join the LNOD communities of practice and participate towards all the resources that are available for you that can help you become and truly prepare yourself for the 21st century. So the LNOD communities want you to register the name. You all registered, hopefully through the LNOD communities, to be able to join the podcast today. This is our adage at the LNOD communities. It takes a village to raise a child and a community to raise a professional, which means that no matter where you're located, which point in your career, whichever organization you're working for, whether you're self-employed, we all need each other to be able to keep growing, and nothing more powerful than being able to learn from each other, co-create solutions, leverage collective intelligence to be able to solve the very wicked problems of this century. So communities of practice, for those who want to know more about this, is basically a group of people coming in from the same community who professionally are basically engaged in a similar concern or passion, and basically want to come together to be able to learn together, to grow together, to solve things together so that you can actually use each other to find more optimal solutions to very trying and compelling problems. This is what you're seeing here. It's about leadership. It's about the future of work. It's about collective intelligence. It's about innovating together. It's about being able to manage talent in a differentiated manner. It's about being able to leverage technology. It's about diversity, equity, inclusion. It's about collaboration. It's about learning and development. It's about co-creation. It's about well-being. And that's what this platform is really all about. So I'm going to invite you all to come in and make use of all the plethora of resources that are available. I'm going to take you through some of them shortly. So that's what this is. This is basically your window to the world. And our vision for the LNOD communities is that it is basically there as a repository to enable best practices and continual learning for the community. And it helps mine, co-create, and manifest collective intelligence so that we don't have to be at this alone. We don't have to feel lonely and helpless around what we're struggling with. There might be many other people who've done it before or who have an idea on how you can solve your problem. So it has a whole host of groups, which are basically, interaction groups. They are participative groups, and you can join them to join the discourse and the dialogue. It's normally through chat, but you can come in together to be able to solve these things as a community. There are 8 thematic groups. You can see the themes right on the right-hand side of your screen. There's leadership, there's learning and development, there's the future of work, there's diversity, equity, inclusion. There are 8 groups you can join, as many or all, so that you're able to basically participate with industry professionals, industry experts, senior members from the human resources and learning community, people who are thought leaders, authors, are all available for you to be able to access. There are subgroups that are trying to solve some more compelling problems that we're experiencing as a community, whether it's the industry academia bridge, whether it's the DI momentum group, which is trying to look at how we can build more momentum for this agenda, the MSME development group to be able to raise the bar on how MSMEs are solving problems and to get the wisdom from other organizations to be able to help MSMEs up the bar on the processes, systems, and practices that they bring into their organizations. There's the talent retention challenge that most organizations continue to be able to experience. And here we can use the collective wisdom of the community to be able to find solutions for talent retention. It's your window to the world, like I said, which is what the learning and OD communities is really all about. So you can ask for your own group. That's how you can use it. You can invite people to join your group. So here are some of the facilities of being able to join this. This is absolutely free in year one. So I'm just calling out all the reasons why you should become part of the learning and OD roundtable, and now as it's called, the LNOD community. So your ideas, your perspectives, you can share images, you can share pertinent videos, you can share audio podcasts, you can share documents, you can participate in polls. All these functionalities are available on the groups. Some great industry veterans that you can reach out to. This is absolutely free when you ask the first question, and then there's a nominal administrative fee should you want to ask more questions. This is the expert advisory services, where you can actually access industry professionals to answer and respond to your most compelling, most trying, most difficult problems that you're seeking solutions to. So expert advisory services, you can ask your query and the community manager will help you find an answer. Who's reading what? This is a great platform to know what everyone's reading on the within the community. These books, which are on our marketplace, where you can actually buy some of the books which industry professionals are recommending. You really get to access each other's bookshelves, basically. These are videos and top featured podcasts. The Ideas Project, which is indeed what our podcast is called, the exclusive content that the LNOD communities is creating is also available here. But we actually curate content that would be most useful for you to be able to use inside your organization. There's someone doing that work for you, especially around the 8 themes that you're already seeing in the participative groups. The Ideas Project podcast, you're on one currently, so look out for these and watch out for more that you can access, especially on the LNOD communities. This is also available on Spotify, but you largely have them curated and posted on the LNOD communities. Move forward. The masterclasses, we've been doing these for several years now. This is our 14th year, as an upholder of knowledge and learning for the community. So do access the LNOD masterclasses. We have a gallery of all our past masterclasses. So if you're coming in late and you don't know enough about the LNOD roundtable, you can access our masterclasses from the past. Other learning resources, which you can access. So there are basically checklists. There are notes. There are blogs. There's just all kinds of things. There are articles that you can access, and so a lot of them around all the hot skills that you want to develop. And so this is like a very well curated set of things that keep getting updated weekly, so you can keep yourself updated on all the current writing without having to scroll through a lot of data before you find what you want to read or what you want to watch. The blogs where you can participate. So if you're someone who likes to write and you'd like to access other people's writing, feel free to be able to contribute to the blog. So, writing is power, and we want to hear, for those of you who want to try uploading blogs to be able to get reaction from the community, feel free to do this. Yeah, so this is free, and you can absolutely keep uploading stuff that you're jotting down even as you experience them. And so here's the drop down of expert advisory services, learning universe, top featured videos, podcasts, learning resources, who's reading what, all of this in one place. And this is free to you in your. There is basically the coaching communities that is coming up shortly. We also have, a whole host of asynchronous learning options coming up that you can actually buy as content for your own LMSs within your organization. So really, this is a one-stop holistic learning platform. And a large part of the discourse on this platform can only get created if you join in as the community. This is absolutely free. So we're looking forward to seeing you on the LNOD communities. And like I said, huge opportunity for more such content that can literally, you can be updated on if you already enroll as a member. So with that, welcome to the LNOD communities, our podcasts, which are getting increasingly very popular. This is about getting future ready. It's about getting familiar with the themes that are going to make you win in the new decade. This is our absolutely outstanding list of experts who you can actually access on this. And there is just a whole host of stuff that's even lined up and is coming up. And I urge you to participate, make the most of it with your teams, so that we're able to upgrade and prepare the entire community. So with that, it is my privilege to present to you the Creativity and Wellbeing Through Music program, that we have a very outstanding musician to present to all of you here today. I'm excited to be able to present Sunita Bhuyan to all of you. She is extremely well known. You would perhaps have heard her perform before. So Sunita, very excited to have you on board with all of us here today. You can switch on your camera. And we're very, very excited. I'm just going to, I know you don't, is a very renowned musician. She is a winner of many accolades nationally and even internationally for her outstanding music. She's the chief mentor of Atos Prayas Foundation, and she leads strategy implementation of health and wellness programs for adults, to communities, and for children. She basically promotes learning through alternate platforms like yoga, meditation, arts, and music. She has a master's music degree and has over 25 years of experience. I'm delighted to let you know that most part of her working career has been within the HR fraternity. And so her ability to be able to understand the challenges within organizations, what can cause, basically well-being challenges at work, mental health as an important dimension of success for a professional, and that the current times are very trying, very compelling, particularly after the upheavals of all upheavals that we've experienced in the last couple of years. Sunita is self-employed and does some really outstanding work with IIM Shillong. She's part of KPMG's Learning Academy. She is part of Creative Scotland. She's also performed at a lot of the forums within the HR fraternity. She designs and delivers very innovative learning experiences in the area of leadership, values, collaboration, and change. We have perhaps been pioneers in leveraging, Sunita's talent at the LNOD roundtable through all our annual seminars and conferences. It is not just an evidence of the power of innovative learning or alternate learning, which is using methodologies and pedagogies that are different to be able to learn. She's extremely skilled at being able to inspire people who are listening to her as she's performing. She is extremely sort of learned in the area of music as a medium. And I think this is going to be an outstanding masterclass for everyone who wants to understand the power of music, how to apply it in the area of building creativity, and especially how do you continue leveraging music for well-being, and perhaps pave the path for being able to show more people who are struggling with mood, who are struggling with their EQ, who are struggling with being able to cope with the changes that they're experiencing, on how powerful music can be to be able to help you heal. So for those who are grieving, for those who are experiencing loss, have experienced loss, for those who are struggling with health-related issues, this is an elixir of life, as I said right at the start of the session. And we're so grateful that we have someone as talented as Sunita Bhuyan to be able to come in here and talk to us through this. So Sunita, welcome one more time on behalf of the LNOD communities. I'm going to now just hand over so that the audience that's been waiting to listen to you, has their fill. So over to you, Sunita. I'd request you to come in and talk to our audience through music as a medium, and then maybe we can take the conversation forward.
Great. Thank you, and namaste to everyone. And thank you, Sujaya, for your generous introduction always. And it's such a pleasure and honor to be part of this forum. And I would like to share that it's been more than 12 years since we first met in Goa, and then I did your first very big grand event in I can't remember the hotel, but it was completely in full force of the LNOD forum, and I was so pleasantly surprised that you already had used music in a form in one of your earlier events, and I said, well, so there is a place for people like me. That's what I thought, because just then in 2012 was when I left my full-time assignment with Sintel that time, which is now, of course, Atos Evident. I was trying kind of testing the waters as to how would people in the corporate world embrace music as a learning medium. And I would definitely like to say that you and your tribe has always been extremely encouraging, Sujaya, to the whole concept of using the arts and music. And uh, here I am. I think this must be my 8th or 10th session with the LNOD WLFA forum and your previous SR organization too.
Yes.
So always happy to be amongst people who has experienced a session before,
Yeah.
because even though it's been 20, 25 years of using the medium, it always feels like every time it's the first time. I don't know if it's with people who have kind of gone ahead and be a little brave to try something new, but I really feel that it's still something new. It's still something which has not been tested by everyone, and hence that positive stress is always there. But well, music, like you said, is such a medium that once you get into a room with the weapon of music, it's half the battle already
It
won.
is. It
Because
is.
because you are not going to find maybe 99% of people in a room that I walk in, a training room or a community or an audience, that they wouldn't like music. So
Mm.
even in the most unexpected audiences, which have never even used experiential mediums, forget about using music, arts, theater, and all of it that's being used today. Their audiences, and I would say really senior audiences. Okay, I'm talking about a CX or suite, for example, of a very reputed analyst company. They may not have used experiential methods before. They may have used very high-end, maybe conventional high-end training methods. But even there, you find people who have an interest towards music. So today, Sujaya, I know we have a theme of well-being and creativity, but I'd like to delve into music as a medium, as a form of art.
Yes.
And it could be a little informative, but it also could be something that people may not have thought about when they enjoy a piece of music.
That's
So, my
right.
dear friends,
I'm
yeah,
just going to interrupt for a minute only to acknowledge that we have Akil Basrai, who's always been such a big fan of your music. He's in the audience. So welcome, Akil. He's also on our governing council and very much the wind below our wings in the LNOD roundtable. I'm also calling out Dr. Deepak Deshpande in the audience. And, Deepak and I had some fun the last time with bringing in Hindi music and
yes.
lyrics from Hindi music to describe the evolution of women and inspire them on Women's Day. So I think we did that. It was a bit of an experiment, but we really enjoyed that. We've also got Ritu here, and Ritu is also on our governing council. So Ritu, welcome to this session. So excited. Ritu's a big fan of music. And I'm really excited to have Ritu on board. So Ritu, welcome. And last but not the least, Preeti Sharma. She was on our session the last time when we'd done the one on Women's Day, and I'm really excited that she's absolutely following us, and she's part of all our masterclasses and podcasts and so on. So welcome, Preeti. Really excited to have you on board. So welcome, everyone. I'm really excited that you found the time this afternoon to be here. Just to let you know that the recorded version of this uh, podcast, obviously an edited version of this, will be made available both on Spotify and will be posted back on social media for everyone who couldn't make it to the live session. So welcome, enjoy. Over to you, Sunita.
My dear friends, music happens for the connecting notes. So let's delve into what music stands for, and let me also explain to you how the session will go. So we've got 3 sections for this. I mean, it's not 3 modules, but basically they could also be 3 modules. One is about music and its elements and what creates the world of music. And then the first and the next module is around the concept of well-being through music, which technically can be defined as the science of music therapy and how that works on our human mind and body. And the third section will be around the concept of creativity through music, which is the active work that I'm currently doing in the field with students and executives alike. So these are the 3 main themes of this session. And of course, because it's a 45-minute to 1 hour session, we won't go much into the concept of the orchestra and how it teaches us leadership lessons, because I do not have the full studio set up and my co-musicians with me. But well, we can touch upon that as a Q&A later. So we'll start with what music stands for and how was it created. So music, apart from being a great entertaining platform, has got two profound benefits on the mind and body. And the first is that music travels to the source, from the source via the atmosphere, and reaches the mind of the listener. And as soon as we start hearing a piece of music, our mind sends signals to different parts of the body. And that's when our body reacts, and that's when our body starts producing feel-good hormones. But what is this construct of music? And I'd like to mention here that even though it's an art, music is regarded and categorized under museums and cultural archives and cultural institutions as an art. But there is a complete science behind music. The science being, first, is the dynamics of music. It is physics. The way sound travels is physics. The way instruments are created and made is physics. The way in which we tie the strings of the violin, for example, is completely physics. The way the strings are tied, and the way the violin is designed, it's got a sound pole, it's got a bridge, it's got a fingerboard, and the belly, it's so significant like a human body. You can see these two. Inside is the belly of the violin. It's got a sound post, and that's what holds the sound together. It's about a violin, and there's so many hundreds and thousands of instruments across the world which are created with a lot of physicality, and hence the element of physics is very scientific. And all that we do, the way we represent our music, the way we construct is also scientific. And there's a lot of math in music also. And when I was always very numerically challenged, and then later on I got a good excuse to say why I was so, that all my numerics went in the concept of beats and tal. So music is composed of two elements, which is sur, or melody, and tal, which is rhythm. And these two elements operate on a platform. Having worked in the ITES world for so many years and still engaged with 8 hours since Intel, I'm using a jargon called the platform, but this platform is nothing but the octave of the 7 notes. And those 7 notes are these are the 7 notes. And these 7 notes are structured, or they reside on the 2 verticals of melody. You create various compositions out of these 7 notes, and rhythm, which is beat and the tal, and the different kinds of patterns that we use in our rhythm. And melody and rhythm together create the world of music. However, these 7 notes are how we sing out in the Indian or the Eastern method of Indian classical music. In the Western world, they are the same. So in the Indian world, in the Western world, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. And all the music in the world, Indian classical, Western classical, rock, jazz, Hollywood, Bollywood, all the music in the world is based on these 7 notes only. So you can imagine the power of these 7 notes, that hundreds and thousands and millions and trillions and billions of compositions by different artists, different musicians, different instrumentalists, different vocalists, singers, folk artists, contemporary artists, classical artists, orchestra artists, different languages and different rhythms from different countries across the world, use just the 7 notes. And that's the theme in which music is used for creativity. As we come along in this session, we're going to share that. So melody Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ni da ni sa re ga. Ga re sa ni da ni re ga re sa. Ni re ga ma pa re ga sa. Rag Yaman. Pa 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 ma ga re ga ma ga. Pa ga re sa ni re ga re sa. बजाओ ढोल स्वागत में मेरे घर राम आए हैं. The song was resounding in my ears. Not that I have gone to Ram Temple to play yet. I will go. Every stage is a temple for us. But this is Rag Yaman, and this is how the rag got created out of just these 7 notes. So melody and rhythm. Rhythm is the pace in which music is created. There are folk rhythms, classical rhythms, and these rags are created and are known as families of music or clans. Like you have symphonies in Western classical music, in Indian music, we've got ragas, and there are 10 clans called the thats, and there are hundreds and thousands of different rags that emanate from these clans, depending on the need of the hour, the mood of the guru and the expert and the master, and also dedications to certain people. There are rags dedicated to Indira Gandhi, to Lata Mangeshkar, to Nelson Mandela. So that's how music is created. And so hence music is one of those forms of arts which is very accessible. Hence, for dance, for example, there's only so much that you can see and do. But with music, it's a non-invasive form of art. When it enters our body through the sound waves and our body reacts to it. Hence, you don't have to be a musician or a singer to be able to get the benefit of music. You can be a listener. And in fact, the concept of music therapy is not for musicians or artists and singers. It's for people who would like to actively listen. Hence, listening is a very integral, intrinsic part of the world of music. Well, that much for now around the world of music. And how is music as an industry? There are exams that one gives. There are various affiliated centers in India, like the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, from where I did my graduation, or the Visharad of music, the 8th grade. And then from the Prayag Sangeet Samiti in Allahabad, where I did my master's, which is called the Sangeet Nipun, and Sangeet Visharad is the 8th. Then you have Trinity College, UK, where it's a apex body that certifies institutes across India, like NCPA and other music schools, and people get trained by experts and masters certified in the Western classical genre. So my son is a Western classical pianist, and I'm an Indian classical violinist. And I did my studies and I passed my exams from these institutions. So that's how music is taught. Now, a lot of institutions and universities also have music courses, which are official. And then today we have in India music therapy courses. There are music therapists who use music as an alternative medical therapy. Well, on this note, let me do a piece of music for this time of the day, which is afternoon into evening. And there's a great rag called Rag Bhimpalashri. Ni sa ga ma pa ni da pa ma pa ga, sa ga ma pa ma ga re sa ni, pa ni sa ga re ni sa. Ni sa ga ma pa ma pa ga ma pa ni da pa ma pa ga, sa ga ma pa ma ga re sa ni, pa ni sa ga re ni sa. श्याम सुंदर मन मोहन रसिया बंसी बजावत कदम की छेया श्याम सुंदर मन मोहन is Rag Bhimpalashri, and you'll be amazed to know that there is so much of other kinds of music and jazz that is, yes, Brij mein dhoom machao sham. Someone, Preeti does know about Bhimpalashri. And a lot of Bhimpalashri is around Lord Krishna and what he does with his flute and his girlfriends. But you would be amazed to know that the same raga patterns can be found in so many other musical compositions. Nisa sa 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 ni sa ga ma ga re sa ni sa 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 ni sa ga ma ga re sa ni sa ga pa ma pa ni sa ni da pa ma pa ga ma ga re sa ni sa ga re de sa ni sa sa ga re sa sa ni sa sa ga ma de sa ni sa ga re sa. Guess the song. Pa ma pa 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 ni da ni pa da pa 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 ma pa pa sa ni sa da ni pa da pa pa sa sa ni da da Papa da papa mama gaga re tu cheese badi hai mast tu cheese badi hai mast sani ni sa ga ma de sani ni sa ga re sa. Bhimpalashri can also be there in an item number. There is no class or mass in music. I think it was Gudi Parva yesterday. We are heralding spring. We are heralding the season of happiness, new chapters in our life. There is no class or mass in the world, and there is no class or mass in music. Like love is universal, humanity is universal, music is universal. It doesn't matter if it's a raga in Indian classical music, a bhajan in a temple, or a hymn in a church. It's the 7 notes that creates all kinds of music. Hence, the best lesson of inclusion, of diversity, is what we find in music. We move on to the next section.
Great, Sunita. Thank you. And I think, are we now moving and gearing the conversation towards music and well-being?
Yes, perfect. So I did mention that, music is a science, and hence, how does it impact, the mind and body? So there's been a lot of research across the world in the recent times, especially on how sound impacts the brain. It all starts from there. Our mind, it would be our brain. And the concept of cognitive preservation. And I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Mondal from the National Brain Research Center, and the research is still on, and how different kinds of sounds impact the mind and the body during different times of the day in different ways. Now, the time theory of music is a very powerful theory that has been already studied and documented in the Indian classical music system. So in Indian music, we have a morning rag, mid-morning rag, afternoon rag. I played Bhimpalashri, evening, early evening, late evening, night, midnight ragas, which have their own impact on the mind and body. But first, let's break down what happens to the body when one hears a piece of music. So when we hear a sound or a melody from the environment as a stimulus, we always don't respond to it in the same way. We hear the BST bus, right? There are 2 notes playing actually, but we don't roll down the glasses of our cars and dance to it because it's not melodious. It's not aesthetically put together, and it's not soothing to the ears. So we hear the sounds around us and the noise, but we don't listen to every sound that we hear. However, if you hear a piece of music, which is something that we know, we like, we have got exposed to that genre, we like that particular song, or we love the power of the notes, even the new melody has created, and it's very attractive to us. That's when our process changes from hearing to listening. Now, when we listen for about 7 to 8 minutes, that's when our brain almost sends signals to different parts of our body. It's almost saying like, hey, I think we like what you're hearing. Why don't we calm down? And as soon as our brain sends that signal, our nervous system calms down. You know, in a laboratory, there has been scientific evidence where the blood pressure calms down. Even people with some problems like anxiety feel much more relaxed. Their pulse rate can become stable. And that's when the body starts producing that feel good hormone called endorphins and dopamine. Now, endorphins is the happy hormone. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing now. Probably I'm very happy hearing a piece of music that I like, a song that I like. Now, dopamine is that when you're getting additional pleasure out of hearing that piece of music or doing that particular activity. Hence, endorphins and dopamine are the two scientific products of therapy through music or through sound's impact in the brain, on the mind and body. So if you have endorphins and dopamine, that's the context of music therapy, because endorphins regenerate our tired cells. So the feeling of stiffness that we have at the back of our neck after a long day, and we switch on the music in the car, and as soon as we hear it for a few minutes, our body calms down. Now, that is not intangible. That is not feelings. And feelings are scientific, because feelings produce these hormones. There are two other very strong feelings that give us two other very, very powerful hormones. That's serotonin and oxytocin. You know, the hormone of caring, nurturing, giving to someone who needs our time and care. And of course, the hormone of love, belongingness, passion. So serotonin and oxytocin also regenerates our tired cells. Hence, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. If we can have all these four hormones in the body, we can arrest aging, we can arrest Alzheimer's, we can delay the onset of Alzheimer's in the human body, and a lot of other ailments, which are psychophysical. Music therapy is used in these situations or in these circumstances for prenatal, postnatal development, for rehabilitation, of drug rehabilitation, as well as mental health rehabilitation. It's also used as a recuperative therapy for cancer patients, for palliative care. And by God's grace, I've had the privilege of working with terminally ill cancer patients also, and other cancer patients. It's not that, they've finished their chemotherapy, they've done all that's needed to be done for the treatment, and they go into palliative care. So what does music do to them in those 2 hours is that it generates so many endorphins in the body that they don't feel that pain for those 2 hours. And increased exposure to the music that one likes. Now, this is it, because it's an art. It can't be that the composition of the medicine changes and is the same, and you give a different drug, different kind of label, administer a different label. But here, the taste of the person is very important. Some may like Indian classical, some may like the morning rock, some may like Yaman a lot, some may like Pimpalashri a lot, someone may like Hindi film songs, some may want to listen to folk songs because it reminds them of the childhood, or the lullaby that the mother used to sing for them. So there's a lot of emotion and taste involved in the way one responds to music therapy, right? So hence, your individual taste and your liking goes a very long way in ensuring that non-invasive therapy through music is working. Hence, in the Brain Research Institute, when they administer different kinds of ragas and sounds, we do a full check, like you would do a demography of the audience in a training room. We would do a check on what kind of music that person has been exposed to. It could be classical, non-classical, doesn't matter. Because, my dear friends, it could be any kind of music in the world. It's actually basically just the 7 notes. much like the values of human values, right? You could be a successful leader in any industry, in any forum, in any professional, non-professional outfit, in a spiritual body. But it's the values of your work, your passion, your ability to work together, to respect differences, to drive the team towards a common goal, to be able to listen to people, to build trust. So, what we see are what we hear are the lyrics and we see the visuals in a film of a song, but what lies beneath are the seven notes. Well, coming back to music therapy, this is how human beings get impacted. Hence, it doesn't have to be someone who's sick or ill. It could be in a conference room. It could be in the pipe music of an organization. You could use morning rags and afternoon rags to be able to de-stress and help people think better. But there is a feature, Sujaya, that I can share with you in this forum on different kinds of rags at different times of the day, which came in Indian Express. I'm going to share that with you. I had written that down on morning ragas and how it impacts ailments like arthritis. It cannot be used as the primary treatment. Okay, so if we break our bones, we can't say Sunita said music therapy will heal it. It can't get healed. We've got to take medical invasive help. But to recuperate, to create healthier cells, to create better and more endorphins in the body, we can take the help of music. So there's morning ragas. If you're cooking, you can use morning rags like Bilawal, Todi. You can use afternoon rags like Vempalashri. Evening rags are great rags like Yaman. Whilst working on the computer, when you're trying to think, you need to use music with slow rhythm. When you are trying to walk in the park or in the gym, you see how gym, they're blasting music because they egg you on to move harder. So there's a lot of rhythm when you go into a gym to do your exercise. Sometimes it's too loud. I find it too loud for me, but most people get impacted by the sound because it eggs you to walk faster, maybe on the treadmill. And evening needs to be ambient. There are late evening ragas like Asavari, which induces sleep and helps in insomnia. But I'm going to share that feature of mine, which talks about what kind of music to hear when you're cooking. Well, cooking is a great art, okay? So cooking and music, they really go together. Cooking is, they say it's the most fashionable form of art because if you can control what we eat and what we think and what we hear, we'll be the most healthy human beings in the world. Hence, when we are cooking, we really need to have the best atmosphere. Hence, they say when you're happy and you put love into your food, it tastes so good. So, well, that's about music therapy. Any questions? Well, Stanford, Harvard, John Hopkins doing a lot of research using music therapy. A lot of oncologists in America, like Dr. Kashyap Patel, they have written about how they use music in their clinics, and I'm very fortunate to be working with such people on and off. Well, this is about music therapy. Let me end this piece till you can think about what we just discussed with a small piece on the violin. Now, this violin is a Scottish fiddle, and you can see this can also be connected to the sound system, so it can play with any kind of orchestra. The idea is that one shouldn't feel that one can't belong. Hence, today the violins have got various kinds of accessories to be able to reach out to larger audiences. But the violin is such an instrument that it was earlier said to be very melancholic, and it's only used for classical concerts and also in Hindi films when the hero is pining for his or her beloved, or there's been a death in the scene. But my mission is to break that myth that the violin can also make you dance and make you sing, and it can rock, it can do folk. It can do all kinds of music. Its repertoire is very huge once it's been exploited. And today it's so nice to see that people are doing rock, jazz, folk, everything on the violin. So like I always say in my workshops and concerts, it's not that we are great artists, but we've just been able to exploit the medium and the power of the instrument to be able to take it to larger audiences. So in Assam, where I come from, my mother, as you know, is a violinist too. And, we were regarded as classical artists only. So I was always invited to perform at 6 p.m. in the evening in the big Bihu festivals where there was no crowd at all. So I would say, why do you invite me at 6 p.m.? Because there's no one in the audience. They say, oh, but you're a classical violinist. The idea, the message to me was that who's going to listen to classical music? The actual crowd comes to listen to very extremely peppy and entertaining music. And that's when I thought that to be able to reach to that crowd, I'll have to do something different with the violin. And that's when I started playing folk on the violin. And why not? It's all about, where does folk, I was just talking about folk when someone sent me a question on folk. So again, folk music also has got those 7 notes, just that it's a different genre. Folk music, has been developed from very original thoughts, feelings of people's everyday lives, of people's happenings around them, and like singing out to the trees, to nature, to the animals, to the rivers, to the sound of the wind, and what happens to people's lives, right? Hence, folk music is a very, very important genre. Is there a difference between folk and classical as far as structure and style? But is there a basic difference? None at all, my dear friends, because it's again 7 notes. Now, this is Rag Dhani, and this is where the folk music of Assam is based in. Holuka bahore, akhi oi moina, oi bholuka bahore, oi akhi. Sa 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 ga ma ma pa ma ga sa ga ma pa ma ga sa. It's springtime, and this is Bihu is the time of spring, and so many, all across India we celebrate spring with different festivals. Noile halile yo deha nodali yo bholuka nodali yo bholuka pothara le halile kako saga ga ga ma pa 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 ma ga saga ga ma ga sa 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 saga ga ma ga sa 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 pothara le halile kako bukure kami haro senai holu dali dali kalo inu sinta kuri Kalo inu sinta kuri thako. Now, these same 7 notes can be used and can be played for a Scottish tune. When I went to Scotland to study, I realized, oh my God, the same Rag Dhani has got similar reels, Scottish reels in the Highlands. So. Well, this was Assamese Bihu.
Beautiful. Lovely. I think I must just give you a round of applause on behalf of everyone here. You've just been performing so beautifully. So Wonderful, Sunita.
Thank you, thank you. So this was an Assamese bihu in fusion with a Scottish reel. Now someone wrote about Sufi. Well, there's so many. Sufi is such a huge, big form of genre of music, and there are rags there. So when I asked my mother as to when will I stop playing Rag Bilawal? Now, Rag Bilawal is the basic rag of Indian foundational course. Okay, now we're coming into the creativity section, Sujaya, and I just want to explain this a little bit with the music. It's the world of domain experts. Who we are is form and science. Like, I'm made of a particular type, my hair is of a particular color, my eyes of a particular color, I speak a certain language, I come from a particular race, from generations. But the way we express ourselves is aesthetics. The way we speak, the way we emote, the way we work with each other is aesthetics. Hence, music is science and aesthetics put together. Hence, if we really want to give these 7 notes to a classical guru, he or she would create a rag, because that's what he or she specializes in. Sa re ga pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga ma re sa re sa. Rag Bilawal. Ga pa da ni sa ni da ni da pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga ma re sa re sa. What if we give these same 7 notes to a music director in Bollywood? Let's see what he or she would create. He or she would create a song, right? Because he's a music director for Bollywood. Sa re ga pa ma ga re ga pa ma ga sa pa ma re ma ga sa pa ma re ga ma ga sa ni sa re. पिया बोले क्या ये बोले जानू ना जिया डोले होले होले क्यों ये डोले जानू ना. Now, this is a song that he created, which was a lot of intent. So obviously, it's a beautiful song. What about a song in the cabaret, in the club? Would that also have 7 notes? Sapa, dani sani da sapa, dani sani da pa re, re ga ma pa re, ga ma pa ma ga pa re, ga ma ga pa ga re sa. Okay? नहीं 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 ये बातें है पुरानी है कैसी पहेली है ये कैसी पहेली जिंदगानी. Now, even a song in the cabaret has these 7 notes. So, coming to Sufi, someone raised a question on Sufi. Pa 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 ga pa pa da da ni da pa pa da pa ma ga ga da 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 pa ma ga ga da 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 pa ma ga re ga re sa sa sa. Which song is it? Ga 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 re sa sa sa. Damadam mast kalanda rag yaman. Ni re ga ma pa ma ga ma da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. Lal meri oh lal meri. Rag Yaman, and this is a Sufi song. धमाधम मस्त कलंदर हो गगा गरी गरी रे सा सा हलीदा पहला नंबर हो लाल मेरी ओ लाल मेरी. राग यमन, another Sufi one. Ni 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 sa dha pa ma pa ma ga re ga. Ni 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 sa ni sa dha pa ma ga re ga. अब जान छूट जाए पदनी धनी सा नि ध प ग रे म म प ध म प ग म ग रे ग प रे. मेरी सांस तेरा सजदा दिन रहन करूं ना ही चैन करूं हो सजदा तेरा सजदा लखवार करूं मेरी जान लुट दूं हो So Sajda, Mitwa, Damadam Maskalandar, and so many, and ghazals, Rag Yaman is very big. So Jaya, we have done that many times with you,
Yes.
the whole 9 yards.
Yes.
But you've got to guess which song this is. You have to be able to guess this.
Okay.
Sani da Nire Gamadani Sani Pamaga Sa. This is Rag Yaman. Okay, this is the nature. Sani da Nire Re Gamaga Sani Sa. Pamare Re Ga 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 Pamada Pare Re Ga. ऐसी बात आज जाने किसी इतना करो.
Lovely.
This is Yag Yaman. So what we see is the dynamics, is the success, is the beauty of a product or a song or a human being or an organization. What lies beneath are the values, the foundation, the principles, the guiding light, which are the 7 notes in music. Hence, this is about creativity and and in music, because what do we want in lives? We all think that we are not complete. We always want to create more with what we have. Businesses want to create more with less. Human beings want to create more love, more abundance, more wealth. But we've got to do it only with what we have. And if we can use our science and aesthetics in a way that we can create more with less, and that's creativity. And hence, that's the concept of teaching creativity through music in business schools, in corporate houses. And well, there's a lots more we can do with it.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Sujaya.
Yeah, well, thank you. This has just been so wonderful. Can't begin to tell you how lovely and enthralling it has been, as always, to listen to you and to your music. I think you made some brilliant connections, and I think this was a real wow session. Just wanted to expand on the last point you made, which is how the corporate world or the business world is using music in a meaningful manner. And I do know that we've tried doing, and I think it's, to really, wowing audience around collaboration through world music or collaboration through music. At Capstone, we do a very popular intervention using music called Leadership Lessons from Jazz Music.
Yeah.
Jazz being a metaphor for seamless collaboration, jazz being a metaphor for, innovation in the moment, performing and innovating the same time, in a live situation. Wonderful principles like serving the music and musicianship, and just so many gems of insights that jazz has to offer. And I know that we have used the value of your music and your musicians, and when you're all together in an entourage, it's just kind of, it's stunning, and it's so impactful. And I must commend you that you were as impactful online. Thank you for still using your violin and playing the music despite not having your studio set. Thank you, Sunita, for doing what you are always doing for the